Hello and welcome to the Sacred Priestess podcast, where I help beautiful awakening women activate the divine feminine power so that they can find clarity, connection, and confidence in their spiritual healing journey in their awakening. I'm Hayley. Thank you so much for being here. And today we are connecting with Goddess Isis. We are talking about psychic ability and Goddess Isis, with our work in the Sacred Priestess Mystery School and in the Sacred Priestess Initiation, it is Isis who works with us to bring forward our psychic abilities in all different ways. She has quite a few keys that she brings through, but this is definitely one of her masteries. This is definitely one of the things that she brings through her lineage of the Mystery School and the Rose Codes. So that's what we are going to be discussing today and the things that she will be bringing through with us today. So we are going to explore that energy of Goddess Isis and what she teaches us about psychic development and intuition, and more as a slow, embodied process, a development, rather than something that needs to be grasped at and, pushed for. And so we're going to talk about why intuition and psychic abilities are important on our journey and how they unfold on our journey, how our nervous system needs to feel safe in this, why devotion and discernment matter, and how sacred wisdom is really an unfolding and a process when it comes to this area of tapping into our divine feminine power and bringing that divine feminine power forward. So, yeah, I mean, I work with Goddess Isis a lot. Like I said, we do that in the Sacred Priestess Initiation, and I do circles with her, which I do have coming up on the 5th of March. So in about a week and a half's time, I'll leave the link for that to register for that in the show notes if you're interested in coming and working with Isis. But yeah, psychic ability is something that everyone is really drawn to when we awaken. Once we hit our awakening, we start our spiritual development, we start our journey, we have this real pull, this real need to start really listening to our intuition and our deep inner wisdom so that we can find that clarity as we move forward. And we also want that ability to, pull through information from guides, from angels, from goddess, from ancestors. We feel the need for that deep connection as we step more into the divine feminine, because it is such a huge part of goddess energy, of high priestess energy, is the ability to connect to multidimensional frequencies, to connect to different realms. And one of the things that she brings forward, which we'll talk about in a minute, is about what psychic ability actually is and means and where it's come from. I mean, when I first began my journey, I was in my mid-20s. So, this was over 20 years ago. And connecting to guides and angels, that the idea of psychic abilities and intuition was more about it being almost like a party trick. You'd go to a healer or a reader and, you'd be like, oh, they got my nan's name, or, it was more of a fun, yeah, sort of like a party trick kind of a thing, which is not, it's not that original intention. And as we step through into awakening as humanity, as a, human consciousness altogether, what we are really needing to understand and develop is the idea that it is intuition for self first. There is a purpose and a reason why we are multidimensional, why we have access to these multidimensional realms, to this inner truth, to this divine wisdom. That is not something about proof of worth, or, how intuitive you are doesn't mean anything about how spiritual you are. And I think that's a big thing too, is that we feel like in order for us to be truly spiritual and embody spirituality, we have to be able to really easily connect to spirit and talk to spirit and see spirit. And that's not what deep spiritual devotion, the path of the priestess, the path of the goddess, awakening is all about. It's so much more than that. And yeah, it's sort of like being spiritual has become, well, if you can't see dead people, or, if you're feeling like, oh, well, I don't get good messages, I don't see spirit, that it means that you're not spiritual or on the spiritual path, because that's, you know, not the biggest part of it at all. So today, Goddess Isis has come through with some things that she wants you to reflect on and think about, and just explore what it really means to walk with intuition, to allow your intuition to unfold, to trust in it, to hold deep respect for it, and hold deep respect for your own timing and your own awakening, your own journey of what's unfolding before you. Because I think, like with psychic abilities, it is one of the things that people like just really want to tap into. And there is a timing on that, and there's things that need to unfold within that as we walk down our path. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing that she brought through was intention. And this is what I was just talking about with sort of like the party tricks and that kind of thing. Our psychic abilities, our intuition is meant as an inner compass. It is your direction for whatever it is that's going on with you. So whether you're going in through, whether you're in the throes of healing and shadow, whether there's a challenging situation come up within your life, like maybe within your relationships or your work, it's an inner compass that guides you to your next step, that guides your direction. And this is what brings you clarity. When people are looking for clarity in their awakening and clarity in what they're doing, it comes from this inner compass, this intuition. And so one of the biggest things that she is sort of showing me is that when you're wanting to explore your intuition, connect to your psychic abilities, you need to start with self. You need to start with trusting your own inner compass, not looking outwards for guides and angels and reaching out for answers, because even those answers are what come from intuition. The answers that your guides are providing you, the perspective your guides and angels are providing you, or that your galactic aspects of self, your galactic guides, the telluric realm, your fairies, dragon energy, that is going to be felt within. Your intuition is felt through your physical body. It's felt through the goosebumps you get on your arms, the tickles you get on your cheeks. It is felt in the feelings you feel within your heart. It's felt with the feelings that come up when you think of a situation or are asking for guidance. Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel, openness within the heart? What comes through in your feelings? What comes through in your mind? So when we are trying to develop, or when we are wanting to develop this intuition, we need to focus on self. We need to focus on our own energy, our own feelings, not be going up into our head and up into space to try and go, what can I pull in from somewhere else? Because everything is felt within self. And so we need to set this intention when it comes to learning our psychic abilities, when it comes to opening up to those, when it comes to tapping into your intuition. Set the intention that it is an inner compass. It is not a party trick. It is not something that's going to prove your worth of spirituality. It is not something that is going to all of a sudden make you this, spiritual miracle. It is something that is there to help you step into sovereignty. It is something that is there that connects you into your higher self, your soul essence. So it is this intuition and the intention, that understanding it is an inner compass. It is your guide. It is your lead from the inside out. It is this that is going to allow you to really tap into, and like I said, find your sovereignty, step into your power, and find that clarity that you are looking for, that direction you are looking for, whether it be with your purpose, your dharma, whether it be with a situation that's going on for you right now. So we want to set the intention as we go into, I'm just going to recap this one more time. Set the intention as we go into our psychic and intuitive development that we are here learning this, developing this to use for self. Yes, we can use it for others. Yes, we can learn to read for others and bring through and be a medium for past loved ones to connect people. We want to, there are a lot of us that want to be in service like that. But we need to use it for ourselves first. We need to learn how to listen and move with our intuition in everything that we do all day long. This is from what breakfast am I eating to, what shall I wear today? What music am I listening to? And if you feel guided, let's say you always eat Wheat Bix for breakfast, but this morning you're being guided to have a smoothie and your intuition is going, you need a smoothie. Have a smoothie this morning. And you go, well, no, because I always have Wheat Bix. That is not in following your inner compass with intention. That is not following your intuition with intention. And the more you follow your intuition, the more you follow those little teeny tiny nudges throughout your entire day, the louder they're going to get, the easier it's going to be to tap into those feelings, to tap into that inner guide and those messages that are coming through for you. So, yeah, it's not always about those big messages. It's not always about those big signs and that big thing going on. Our intuition is for the purpose of our own development, our own movement forward, our own connection to our highest timeline. So, really having the intention to listen to those little intuitive nudges all day long. Like, let's say you've been sitting down on the couch for an hour and a half watching a movie and you're like, oh, I'll just watch another movie. But then your body's going, no, you need to get outside and get some fresh air, go for a walk in the forest. And you go, no, that's okay, I'll just watch another movie. You're not listening to your intuition. Your body is telling you, your soul is telling you that you need to get out in the fresh air, that in order for you to recalibrate your energy, to, integrate different dimensional frequencies, that you need that and you're ignoring it. And so setting the intention to follow it every day, understanding that it's an inner compass, is a good place to start. And that's something that she's bringing through really strongly for this. And so the other thing, which kind of is piggybacks off that, the next thing is sacredness and understanding that connection to your intuition, to your soul, to the divine, to your guides and angels and all these other dimensional frequencies is sacred. Even though they love you to be in joy and love connecting with you, and it brings them joyous energy to connect, and especially when we're talking like telluric realm, to your fairies, your pixies, they love that energy. Guides and angels love that energy, but it's also very sacred. It's not something to be taken lightly. And with sacredness comes respect. It's respect for the channel. And this ties into that idea of actually following what your intuition is guiding you to do. The respect in that, the respect in what your guides and angels are bringing through, and just that sacredness between that connection. It is a beautiful relationship to start bringing forward. But if we're not respecting it, if we're not holding it in high regard, which again comes down to following it, we're not really going to develop and allow that to unfold in the way that it's supposed to. And so, yeah, just really respecting the sacredness of your own inner wisdom, your connection to guides, to angels is very, very important. Which then comes down to trust of self and trust of the universe and trust of your guides, or trust in your guides. So many people who I talk to about this subject and who want to step into spiritual development, psychic development, intuitive development, most of the blockages come from the lack of self-trust. feeling like they're not interpreting it properly. Oh, that can't be right. I can't be doing that. That can't be what it is. And so it's that lack of trust in self as I suppose, human to translate what is coming through, because you've got to remember a lot of this stuff comes through in, messages, in pictures through the third eye that can come through as symbols or disjointed, come through as feelings. And a lot of it comes through, which a lot of people don't realize, is that they're coming through in a few different ways. We don't just have one Claire. My stuff comes through in clairvoyancy. So I see a lot of pictures, I get a lot of imagery in my head, but I also get feelings in my physical body. I also get feelings in my emotions, and I also get knowing. And I have had to learn how to incorporate all of that data together. But this is where people get stuck, because you have to interpret that data that comes through to you into English, and you have to trust yourself to be able to do that. That's a you thing, yeah? The interpretation of data is you. It's like you going, okay, well, I know how to drive a car. I know that I have to get in, and I know that I have to hold on to the steering wheel, but you have to trust yourself to do that without crashing into something, right? So it's that same kind of thing in a way. You've got to trust yourself, but that comes through practice. And this comes back to setting the intention to follow your intuition consistently every day in everything that you're doing, in everything that comes up, because the more you do that, the more you actually follow it, the more you begin trusting yourself in the way that you're interpreting the data that's coming through to you. And just as a side note, but same thing, start recognizing how things come through to you. Does it come through your imagination? Do you also feel feelings? Do you also have a knowing and understand that you have all of these things that are working? I think a lot of people just think, oh, well, I'm not very good at picturing things, therefore I'm not psychic. But it comes through in so many different ways. And I do have a podcast on the 8 Clairs. I'm sorry, I can't off the top of my head think about what episode number it was, but if you scroll back through, you'll find it, because a lot of people also don't understand that that's what it actually is. And they'll be like, oh, I do that all the time. That happens to me all the time. So yeah, I think recognizing and then trusting yourself to interpret that. But we also need to be able to trust our guides, trust different realms and frequencies, because I think also one thing that people don't recognize is that, like, as an example, I had a thing with fairies. I had beef with fairies. And anytime in my human design, I have a very close, or are supposed to have a very close relationship with the fairies. Fairies are and stepping into the divine feminine, fairies are a very big part of that. But I had beef with fairies, and I would try to connect with fairies, and people would tell me, oh, you've got a big infinity with the fairies. And I'd be like, yeah, no, fairies and I kind of I don't really see it. I don't feel it. But it's because as a dominant dragon energy that I have with me, apparently the dragons and the fairies have had in the past some problems with each other, and I had to actually reconcile with my fairy energy in order to allow that to come forward more and to tap more into that telluric realm, into that second dimensional frequency. So if we are having troubles, it could be that there are parts of us that are needing to reconcile. There are parts of us that are needing to forgive and let go of within different multidimensional frequencies and different collectives. So, which is interesting. So that could be something that is coming forward for you. So, we need to get that trust back. And maybe you also have had things in the past where your guides have told something, or you've been to a reader and they've said your guides are saying this and you've followed it, and it's gone, excuse the phrase, but it's gone tits up and it hasn't worked out, and it's actually been a painful experience or brought on a painful experience. And so you no longer trust your guides, because they led you into something, or even you and your intuition led you into something that ended up being quite painful, hurtful, harmful, or, that you ended up doing something to somebody else that made you feel ashamed and guilty. And so they're the kind of things that we need to reconcile as well, and need to forgive ourselves for, forgive other people for, forgive our guides for, forgive the universe as well. The universe gets a lot of slack because we've gotten into this sort of we've gotten into this habit where we blame the universe for our lessons. The universe has, I'm not going to say it's got nothing to do with our lessons, but your lessons come from you. But what we do is we go, I hate the universe. It's the universe's fault. Why does the universe keep doing this to me? And if that's the kind of energy that we're putting out into that relationship, it's not going to reciprocate in an open, loving way of, oh, well, let me give you all of this beautiful information and all of this beautiful stuff when there's that animosity there. And so we really need to be careful of blaming, and if we're still holding on to blame around lessons that our guides, because that's the other thing, or why do my guides keep doing this to me? They're not. They're not doing it to you. That's not their job. That's not what they do. Everything comes from you, and everything starts with you. So if you've got lessons that keep coming back to you, it's because you're not in the right vibrational frequency. You're still moving from old habits, old choices, old patterns, old emotions. Your guides, your angels, the universe work with you, but it starts from you. We can't go into all of that right now, but so trust is a big thing. And so we need to work through, if we do have these sort of past traumas, past grievances where we've gone ahead and blamed all of this, they're things that need to be worked out. And the last thing Goddess Isis just wanted to bring through was safety. And especially from past lives, she helps us with a lot of past life blockages in the third eye, in the throat, because the throat, she always brings through stuff with the throat as well when it comes to psychic abilities. So this is something as well that is going to stop you and hinder you from really stepping into the trust, stepping into the surrender, stepping into the flow, stepping into the intention, stepping into the work, because of, I'm sure if you're here, you probably know all about witch wounding, sisterhood wounding that comes from that, of, obviously past lives where you've been persecuted for being in your spiritual power, being in your divine feminine power, and using those psychic abilities. So really working through those past life blocks, really working through ancestral blocks around. She's showing me right now, she's reminding me, that the blocks that are held in the womb center when it comes to ancestral blockages around this, when it comes to deep ancestral tribal ties of psychic abilities and intuition, and a lot of that deep feminine wisdom that has been suppressed as well. So she really works with us to clear all of this stuff and encourages you, if you do feel like you're quote unquote struggling with your psychic abilities and stepping into that, and you're not feeling safe around it, you're feeling judged around it, you're feeling like people are going to leave you or not like you if you start, moving from, expressing from this space to work on something like this. So that's what she brings through for us. So I just want to recap, intention. Set your intention around your intuition and psychic abilities, that it is there not as a party game, not to prove your worth. It is there to help direct you in your life. It is there to help you through the struggles. It is there to help you on your path, to find direction, to find clarity first and foremost. That is what it is there for. The second thing is the respect and sacredness of the relationship between your intuition that is coming directly from your higher self, from your soul essence, and from the support of your guides and angels and other in all multi-dimensional frequencies. So even with that, just setting the intention to have a respectful and sacred relationship with your abilities, with your team, and with your higher self soul essence. The third thing is working on trust within yourself, which just comes from doing, practice. With practice comes confidence. With confidence comes trust. And making sure that we are trusting in the universe and guides. And if there is any blame, animosity, anger towards the universe or guides for doing all of these horrible things to you over the years, then that is something that needs to be forgiven and worked through with them, which you can do in meditation to move that forward. And lastly, just working on safety by releasing past life blocks, ancestral blocks, womb wisdom healing, so that we can release all of those ties and those energetic cords. So that's what Goddess Isis wanted to bring through today. Like I said, if you are interested on working with her to gain deeper access and unlock your psychic abilities so that you can move with more clarity, with better direction, with more confidence, with more connection to different realms and to your own intuition, then I will put the link in the show notes to the Goddess Isis Circle, which I'm running on the 5th of March, 7 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for being here. Always remember that if you have any questions, you can pop a comment in and I will get back to you. You can reach out to me on socials. I'll put all the links below. Thank you again, like I said, for being here. If you have friends and beautiful sisters who are in this work as well, please share and don't forget to press that follow button, and I will see you again next week. Bye.